Yeah, hi there. And these comments, I'm not going to actually use your name, but you are one of my online students of the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT, and you had a question about nouns. You say, how can I use the grammar structure noun plus noun equals a noun? Like internet addiction to internet. I want to know when or what situation I can use this structure. You know what? You've almost answered the question yourself here. So I want to go over to a couple of websites here first, see if this makes sense. So here, you can see the link I'm at right here if you want to go to the website yourself. First of all, how to recognize nouns used as adjectives, right? So we have it says it's hard to tell whether we have a noun or an adjective. Here are some examples to compare. Okay, so in this case, we have adjectives describing nouns. High prices, dirty oil, open door. Now here's nouns describing nouns. Fuel prices, engine oil, car door. So then, if you want to try to figure out, and this can sometimes help you in terms of seeing if you can take something and turn it into a noun, it says there can be more than one adjectival noun before another noun. A useful way to discover whether a word before a noun is an adjective or an adjectival noun is to reverse the two words and see if a preposition can be placed between them to obtain the same meaning. Prices of fuel, which means fuel prices. Oil for engine means engine oil. The door of a car means car door. You have a struggle for freedom means a freedom struggle. And then you have problems with the definition of words, and then you got definition problems. But if you notice, you cannot do that for these adjectives here. You can't say prices of high, oil of dirty, door of open, or struggle of daily. So it shows you that you cannot rewrite them that way. So it's showing you here, these are all specific adjectives. Going back to your question, this is why I said you kind of answer the question. You have internet addiction, right? You have addiction to the internet. So you can see that both of these words are actually nouns. So what do? If you have a word like, you have a wash for cars, right? And a lot of times in writing, and a lot of writing handbooks, it'll say, try to use a more concise version of whatever it is you have. So then, obviously, we can say car wash instead of wash for cars. You see what I'm saying? So if you can delete this preposition, and if you can put this word before the other noun and it seems to make sense, then you're definitely using it as a noun. You're using a noun as an adjective that occurs before another noun. Now to see it another way, let's go to one other website. So as you're doing nouns as adjectives, there's a few things you want to remember. The noun as the adjective needs to come before the other noun. So then you can understand what is actually being said here. So a racehorse is a horse that runs in races. A horse race is a race for horses. A boat race is a race for boats. Right? You have a love story, is a story about love, and so on. You kind of see how that works? Now a couple of other things. The noun as the adjective needs to be singular in most cases. So boat race, toothbrush, shoelace, cigarette packet. So you can't put the plural, you can't put the plural s on a noun that functions as what we call an adjective. Now it says a few nouns look plural, but we usually treat them as singular. For example, if you say a news reporter, one billiards table, an athletics trainer. Even a physics class is kind of the same thing here. Clothes shop, sports club, custom duty, accounts department, arms production. Since when we use certain nouns as adjectives, clothes, sports, customs, accounts, arms, we use them in the plural form. Now it says, how do we write the noun as an adjective? It says, we write the noun as adjective and the real noun in several different ways. You can have them two separate words like car door. Sometimes you can have hyphenated words, bookcase, and in some cases, bathroom, one word. It says, there are no easy rules for this. We even write some combinations in two or all three different ways. Right? So the main thing here, if you're not exactly sure, sometimes your spell check will help you with this. So if you see that two words are together like car door, and then it underlines that in red, and then you put a space there, then the computer is saying that it recognizes the two nouns as being separate words, but not as being one word. So you also have to pay attention to your spell checker for those things. Alright, so I think I've more or less answered your question. Understanding nouns is not easy. They're pretty complicated. And what you can do now is I want you to read some newspapers over the next week. As you read those newspapers, you can identify, maybe go through an article or two and start underlining the different nouns that you see in those sentences, in those paragraphs, and then see how they're being used and see if you can identify some of the nouns in some of the passages as being used as adjectives. And then, of course, the question is, well, how is the writer using that noun as an adjective, and why is the writer doing that? For example, car wash is a more concise way of saying wash for cars. So the writer can omit that preposition and then put car in front of wash, and then car changes now to singular because we don't use plural adjectives before nouns. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of why you might see that. So I think as you read and pay attention over the next week or two, you'll probably get a little more familiar with this type of grammar.